the Realm Tree. Episode 30. Daisy and Talia.
Talia, I'm so sorry.
She's gone.
Talia, hey, snap out of it. I tried to remove myself from Talia's body, but couldn't. I felt control of my magic slip away from me. What's happening? Holding Daisy's body close to her, cracks started to appear in Talia's skin. Darkness started to seep out of her as it fell off in flakes. Please, Talia, don't let it control you! The rest of Talia's skin flaked off until she was a being of pure shadow, with my line of jewels down her back. She placed Daisy on the ground, hunching over her for a moment. Then she looked heavenward, and dark energy surged off of her towards the sky.
I turned to see a pillar of darkness above the realm. Violet stirred in my arms, still asleep.
Talia?
Where my daughter had once stood, a figure of darkness had taken her place. It was hunched over, with a featureless face, and trails of shadow pouring off of it. The shadow beast turned towards me and screamed, surges of dark energy blasting off of it. I shielded myself and Violet with a jewel-covered arm. The strength of the beast's attack felled several trees nearby. Ignatius Doherty flew in from afar.
Cassius.
Something has overtaken Talia. Here, look after Violet. Despite our differences in ideals, I know we both desire her safety.
Cassius, what's happening?
Nothing, my love. Please rest. I handed my wife over to Doherty, keeping an eye on the berserk figure tearing through the forest. It flew into the air, slicing across the landscape with blades of shadow.
Don't tell me you're going to face off against your own daughter.
I am sovereign of the realms. If she is threatening their safety, then I will do what I must. I flew high into the air, eye level with the rampaging creature. I launched strings of darkness towards it, wrapping them around its limbs. Its featureless head looked at me once again, and my strings of shadow were absorbed into its dark body. It can't be! The beast launched its own tendrils of shadow towards me, coming off of the jewels in its back. Even with the strength granted by the spring and autumn flames, I could not overpower the pure force of its darkness. The beast lifted me to the sky, then threw me to the forest floor with such a force that I couldn't fly off. The dirt wasn't enough to cushion my fall. The shadowy figure stood over me with a blade of shadow extending from its forearm. It held me down by the throat, then stabbed me through the chest.
Lyndon and I flew over the Night Realm's forest toward a pillar of darkness. I was in such a hurry, I almost crashed into a branch on a taller tree.
Rondell, eyes up while flying. I know you're in a hurry, but...
That dark pillar is coming from where Daisy flew off to. We don't get to hesitate right now.
Rondell, there's Professor Doherty. Maybe he knows what's happening.
We touched down on the ground, running over to the professor. He was carrying an unconscious woman with lavender hair. What the hell's happening here?
Rondell, Lyndon, I'm glad to see you're all right, but it's not safe.
Suddenly, Talia's dad was thrown down from the sky. A shadowy figure flew down, landed on top of him, and stabbed him through the chest.
That's the Sovereign!
And someone strong enough to kick his ass!
Yes, it's Talia.
What? No way! How?
I'm not sure. Some magic has taken over her. Perhaps it is the power of despair.
We followed the professor's line of sight. I saw a body on the ground.
Is that... Daisy?
No! No!
With all the sincerity in my heart, I'm sorry, Rondell.
I ran to her side as she laid on the forest floor. She was a mess with blood from her chest and mouth. Eyes closed like she was asleep. I can't believe this!
Rondell, look out!
Talia leapt at me, raising the same bladed arm she used to stab her dad. Lyndon rushed in, making a wall of blue energy with his creation quill to block her attack. He used his telekinesis quill to physically move the wall forward and shove her back. Hey, be careful! That's still Talia!
She was going to kill you.
Talia became a shadow and slid under Lyndon's wall. She slithered around him and appeared next to me on the other side of Daisy's body. Talia, listen. I won't touch her. Ah! A blast of darkness to my chest sent me flying against a tree. I slowly got up and saw Lyndon trying to restrain Talia with summoned blue chains. Rondell! Baby Rondell became a glaive in my hands. I swallowed and rushed at Talia with a jumping strike. Her two shadow blades clashed against my weapon. Look, I'm sorry, but if you don't calm down, I'm gonna have to calm you down for you.
I don't think she's listening to reason.
I'll make her listen. I shoved Talia away from me. Baby Rondell turned back into a doll, sunk into the ground, and came back up as two floating stone fists. Before Talia could rush us again, I made the fists shoot towards her, directing their movements with punches of my own, slamming her in the face and stomach. I saw Lyndon out of the corner of my eyes, writing furiously with both quills in the air.
Almost. No!
The fists flew back to me as Talia swiped at them with her blades. Then Lyndon created more blue chains surrounded with orange energy, wrapping around Talia and pulling her limbs in all directions. When she started to slip out of them, Lyndon drew a square in the air with both quills. The chains merged and morphed into a blue cube with Talia in the middle. We heard her bang her fists against it from the inside. How long can you hold her like that?
Not long.
Okay, I just need 2 minutes.
Why?
Just trust me! I stuck my fist into the ground. Baby Rondell followed. The little doll head rose out of the ground again, collecting all the stone in the area as it grew taller and taller. There was a sound of metal clanging as Talia dented Lyndon's cube. Talia! I know you're hurting, but you're not the only one in pain right now! She was my friend too! Baby Rondell started rising to the size of a tree, then a fortress, then a small mountain, merging with all the countless black stones and pebbles of the Night Realm to dwarf all of us. Let's do this, Big Rondell. The stone form of Big Rondell pulled a giant arm back as Talia smashed her way out of Lyndon's cube. She flew down at us, blades first, but Big Rondell easily swatted her away with a backhand. She righted herself in the air.
She won't stay down.
Good!
What?
It means we're not hurting her too bad. Shadowy tentacles burst out of Talia's back in the air and started piercing at Big Rondell. Mimicking my movements, the giant blocked most of them with huge stone arms. Sorry about this, Talia. Arms still up to block, Big Rondell tackled Talia with its shoulder. While she was stunned, it dove and grabbed her between both giant fists, locking her arms between giant fingers so she couldn't smash her way out. Big Rondell rolled sideways in the air and fell to the ground, crushing trees under the side of its body and making the realm shake. Me and Lyndon ran over to where it held her. Okay, we got her! For now.
What exactly is your plan here? I know we don't want to hurt her, but are we just going to pin her down until she stops?
Look, I don't have a plan, okay? I can't think straight. One of my best friends ever is dead, and now Talia's attacking us.
Rondell?
You know who could always reach Talia? Daisy! And she's gone!
Rondell, Talia is escaping!
I whirled around to see Talia turn into a shadow and slip out of Big Rondell's hands. She flew higher into the air and started to inhale, gathering dark energy. Get down! Sweeping beams of darkness fired off Talia in all directions, blowing holes in Big Rondell's stone fists and body. Lyndon yanked me away from the giant stone body as it fell in reverse onto its back. Big Rondell was struggling to stay together and get back up. Free now, Talia floated and charged dark energy once again. Me and Lyndon braced ourselves, but before Talia could release that energy, ice started to gather around her dark wings. She stopped her attack and began to claw the chunks of frost off of herself.
Hello down there!
Behind us, a giant phoenix came down from the sky, flapping huge wings. Lex rode on its back, and Nadine was behind him. Her palms were held forward and glowing, continuing to ice Talia's wings until until she was having trouble staying in the air. Lex, Nadine, be careful! That's...
It's Talia, we know! The professor filled us in!
We're here to help. Hello in there! I suggest you give us back our friend.
Lex, you can't reason with berserk magical energy.
Well, I think it's only fair to give it a fighting chance.
Talia fired more dark beams in a random pattern around the area. One of them fired towards us. Before it got close, it was sucked into a portal of darkness. Vander Gray ran in from further back with Professor Doherty. The professor was still holding Talia's mom.
Your reinforcements have arrived.
A beam of golden light came down from the sky. A glowing fairy appeared between us and Talia, spreading golden dragon wings on his back.
Stay behind me, everyone. Fortuna, how do we break Talia out of this state?
I don't know. And I can't reach Jinx. She's being suppressed by all the power she's absorbed from the Night Realm.
Then we keep Talia on the defensive until the energy runs out. Nadine and Linden, slow her down and restrain her when possible. Vander, redirect her beams. Professor, keep Talia's mother safe. Lex and Rondell, you guys are backup. I'll take point. Sound good?
After you, kid.
Let's go, everyone!
Talia's wings spread wider and grew longer, until she looked like a dark, shadowy angel. Mercury spread his wings as well. Talia flew at us in a burst of darkness, and we ran to face her.
Talia, please, say something. Talia and I were in a black and blue void of magic. She was curled up, head between her legs. When I tried to touch her, my hand just passed through. She couldn't see me. I was in my spirit form, the form I like to take in Talia's dreams. I looked more like a fairy, with pure black skin and purple marks across my face. A circular window in the darkness let me see through Talia's eyes, where I saw her corrupted body fighting against her friends. Talia, I'm sorry you're grieving, and I'm sorry my magic is doing this to you. If you stay in this form for much longer, your mind will be lost to the power of night. But I think I know how I can free you. Through Talia's eyes, I caught a glimpse of Daisy's body on the ground. Let my offering give voice to what is lost! I reached out to Daisy's spirit. Slowly, she began to materialize in this void with us. Her body started to disintegrate in the real world, turning to a sparkling dust.
Daisy? I saw Daisy starting to appear in front of me, eyes shut. My head turned to see Jinx. She smiled at me sadly.
Good to see you up, Talia.
Jinx? What's happening to you?
Your grief over losing Daisy caused my magic to go berserk. But then I realized I could save you. Like you saved me. A green flame, a white flame, and an orange flame appeared behind me. I recognized the presence of my lost siblings. Mir of spring, Niket of winter, and Valka of autumn.
Jinx, think carefully about what you are doing.
Only 3 beasts remain, and you were freed from the realm tree so recently.
Are you willing to give that up already? Who will lead the realms?
I know this is what I want. The future of the 6 realms is not with the beasts in charge. It is the young fairies.
Very well. We'll see you soon.
Jinx? The flames of the other beasts flickered out. I noticed that the more Daisy appeared, the more Jinx started to vanish. You're fading away? Why?
I know the thing that you want most right now. The thing that could stop all of this. I thought I could maybe give it to you. But it had to cost something. You've lost so much already. So I decided to sacrifice something of mine.
Sacrifice what?
Only Daisy could bring you back. It's not in my power to return someone to life. However, I could take what's left of her spirit and merge it with mine. The cost will be my own existence. But it will have been worth it to save you.
No, I can't lose you too.
Talia, it'll be okay. I've lived more in these last few months than I have in thousands of years. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for being different and kind. Thank you for fighting for those you care about. And thank you for bringing me home.
Jinx! She smiled warmly at me as her body shrunk into the form of a small purple flame. It broke into thousands of particles that drifted over to Daisy's body, seeping into her wounded chest. As Jinx completely vanished, Daisy fully manifested in front of me. When her eyes fluttered open, they were electric blue, the same vibrant color as Jinx's jewels. I ran over and wrapped my arms around her.
Hey.
Hey! Is it really you?
Yeah, it's really me. Jinx is in here too, but I'm still me. I'm here to send you home.
Oh. You won't be coming with me.
No, I won't. I'm sorry. I really wish I could.
I can't believe it. After all of that, I'm still losing you. Both of you.
Talia, if you stayed like that for any longer, you would be lost too. This is the only way. Jinx had so much faith in you, and so do I.
This isn't fair, Daisy. I miss you.
I miss you too. So much.
Daisy pressed my hand into hers.
When I was a little girl, my parents once told me that the dead aren't the ones who need us. Life keeps going, even after we're gone. My journey might end here, but yours won't. And a little piece of me and Jinx will keep an eye on you every step of the way.
Okay. It was nice to see you again.
Hey, look at me. You can cry, but don't be sad.
I'll still be with you.
Nothing. Not the realms, not your father, not even death can keep us apart. It's time for you to get going.
Talia. Please, wake up, Talia.
My eyes shot open to see Mercury's face. He was covered in scratches and fresh blood, and panting heavily. And then I realized he was cradling me in his arms.
You're awake.
Looks like it. Mercury helped me to my feet. Lex ran to steady me as well. Rondell and Nadine were standing nearby.
She's all right, everyone. We did it.
That's a relief.
Sorry to worry you guys.
Where's Daisy? Is she here?
Mercury, Nadine, and Lex waited for an answer. Rondell looked like he was about to burst into tears.
Daisy's gone.
Wait. What?
Daisy's gone! Me and Lyndon found her body, then we had to fight Talia. And now her body's gone too.
No. No way.
How did this happen?
I told them of how my father killed Daisy, and how I lost control of Jinx's magic, and how it took both of them to bring me back.
This is overwhelming.
I feel like I'm in shock. This doesn't feel real.
She may have been the best of us. This is all so cruel.
Talia, your dad sucks.
I know, but I messed up too. I hurt you, Rondell. I'm so sorry. In my anger, I couldn't see anyone else's pain besides my own. I lost myself in it.
It's all right. I'm glad to have you back at least. I don't know what I would have done if we lost you too.
I want my friend back. I'm grateful to be alive, but when one of the people you love most in the world leaves it, you just wish it could have been you instead. Silently, Mercury pulled me into a hug. Slowly, the others joined. For a long time, we just held one another. Rondell cried on Lex's shoulder. Mercury let me bury my head in his neck for a little while. Footsteps came through the forest, rushing towards us. We slowly let go of one another and turned to see Linden running over.
Apologies. I don't mean to interrupt. Talia, your mother is with Vander and the professor.
Is she okay?
Yes, they're looking after her as she recovers. I can take you to them if you want.
Yeah. Linden led us through the forest to a fallen tree that my mom was sitting on. Vander Gray and Professor Doherty stood over her. They moved out of the way so I could walk up to my mom. She slowly looked up at me and smiled.
For a moment I was worried about you. I guess I should have known better.
My mom slowly rose to standing. Are you okay to walk?
I am.
Good. Then let's find Dad.
I began to stir awake, sitting up slowly on the forest floor. The wound in my chest was severe. I carefully raised my hand to it, using the spring flame's power to repair the vital organs. When strength allowed, I rose to my feet, healing myself as I walked. My wings were too torn to fly. In a few minutes, I came upon the beach with a seventh crystal floating above it, incomplete. And underneath it stood a group of fairies. Violet! Talia,
If you move another step closer, we're going to take that as a threat.
Cassius Wick, you are outnumbered, and all of your allies have been defeated. In addition, you and the remaining members of the Council are to be stripped of your titles, and I will spearhead a peaceful transition into a new form of government. Will you comply?
Don't worry. I'm wounded past the point of being able to resist. The Council has fallen. I alone cannot fight all of you.
My father pulled a small black crystal out of his cloak. The Night Realm fragment.
The Night Realm's barrier is the last to fall. Other than myself, I believe the only true Night Fairy here is Vander Gray. So it falls to him.
My father tossed the night fragment over to Vander, who caught it between his fingers.
I wanted to thank you, Vander, for letting me know about the beasts within the Realm Tree all those years ago. In a way, perhaps it all started with you.
I hope you choke on your own tongue.
Vander held the crystal above his head, and the final barrier began to fall around the Night Realm.
The realms can be as one. Wingless fairies can travel freely between the realms and be just like everyone else.
And the magic that connects fairies to nature may thrive with the barriers down. You all may have done much more than you anticipated. I admit, it was an impressive endeavor.
My father looked up at the jewel dust swirling around the black sphere, the core of the seventh crystal.
However, it's a shame. All those lives and jewels would be wasted if the seventh crystal remains incomplete. It only needs a few more.
An orange flame and a green flame appeared in each of my father's hands.
But perhaps, with the powers of the spring and autumn flames, this will be enough!
He stood calmly as the flames started to engulf his body.
No!
We all tried to run to my father, but strings of shadow whipped from the ground to hold us in place.
Cassius! What are you doing?
Dad, it's over! You don't have to do this!
For the sake of the realms, I do.
The energy from the flames began to break the jewels sewn into my father's skin to pieces. Their dust drifted upwards into the seventh crystal.
Violet, once I am gone, run far away from here. Any being without fairy blood in their bodies will be in danger upon the completion of the crystal.
Cassius! Stop!
There's something you need to know. A secret I have kept to myself since your birth. You were born with a jewel.
What are you talking about? My father pointed up at the black sphere in the center of the swirling jewel dust above us.
The core of the seventh crystal. The jewel of a half-fairy, half-amorphian child provided the only magic malleable enough to control this much energy.
What? I turned my head up at the black sphere in the center of the swirls of jewel dust. I looked to my father, then to my mom.
Mom, is this true?
I don't know. I had no idea.
It was all my doing. Your mother did not know that I removed your jewel at birth as she slept. It was a necessity of my plan. But I despised myself for it. I couldn't bring myself to become close to you as I did not feel I deserved it. Despite all my success, I was a failure as a father and husband. And I am sorry.
You're saying you cared? All this time?
Cassius, there is no excuse for what you have done. Your own daughter could have been killed.
And instead, she reached her full potential. I'm glad that this struggle brought out the best in her.
You don't get to take credit for who Talia has become. She is who she is in spite of you, not because of you.
Mercury, thank you. Leave this to me. My hands shifted into claws and cut through the shadowy threads restraining me with a turn of my wrists. I stepped towards my father as he burned. I don't care if I don't have a jewel. I thought if I did, you'd treat me differently. Like a daughter. But that's not right. My worth to you shouldn't depend on how useful or valuable I am. And now I hear that I actually was useful. The key to your big, dumb plan. And you avoided getting close to me out of guilt. I finally understand you. I see why you raised Era and threw her aside when she started to get out of hand. I see why you sacrificed all these lives to create a weapon. All you value is power and control. Because you're scared. And I see why you killed Daisy. She was a greater threat to you than anyone. She showed me that love isn't conditional, and that family is more than just blood. My father disintegrated into a mist of colored dust and was pulled into the vortex surrounding my floating black crystal. The strings of shadow released all of us as his crown fell to the ground. We steadied ourselves, panting heavily. I turned to face my mother. Hey, Mom. Why did he tell you to run? The jewel dust swirled around the beach faster and faster before circling tightly around my jewel above us. In a burst of color, it expanded outwards to take over the whole sky. The 6 realms were now surrounded by a transparent barrier. My mom looked down at her hands. They flickered in and out of existence.
Violet, what's happening?
It's like my very existence is being rejected. I can't stay here. I'll die.
Where else can you go?
Home. Find me there, Talia.
Mom!
Beyond the realms. Your powers can take you there. The place where I come from. Use the water.
Mom!
Her body struggling to stay in this world, my mom ran for the sea. She jumped, and her wings wrapped around her legs, morphing them into a mermaid tail. She dove into the water and vanished. The sun woke me up from my bed in the Demeter house. I shuffled downstairs to see Daisy's parents in the kitchen. Morning, everyone.
Morning, Talia. In the mood for eggs?
Yeah, that sounds delicious. The three of us sat around the wooden kitchen table, eating breakfast mostly in silence. Hey, thanks again for letting me stay with you these past few months. I really appreciate it.
No, of course, Talia. You're family. We're here for you anytime you need.
And it's nice for us, having some help around the house.
Burden.
But of course, we'd be happy to let you stay here regardless.
Thank you.
We went to meet up with Vander Gray again.
Oh yeah? How'd that go?
It was alright. We just took a walk, chatted for a while.
He's a good fairy to talk to about everything. You know? Nothing in the world prepares you for losing your child.
Yeah.
Not that losing Daisy wasn't hard for you, too.
I get it. Don't worry. I've got my friends, and they're a huge help. I'm glad you both had a good talk with him.
He's a nice guy. On some level, it's nice to have someone you can relate to on something like this. But on the other hand, you don't want to relate to anyone about it. You don't want anyone to have lost their kid. It still just doesn't feel real.
I'm really sorry for getting her involved.
Getting her involved? She's the one who wanted to build an underground base and go on all these missions.
Don't hold yourself responsible for that. Our little girl was always rushing all over the place. If anything, we're the ones to blame for...
Burden.
Right, sorry. I know there's no good in blaming ourselves, but... some days it's hard not to.
Well, what do you think Daisy would say if she saw you moping around?
Huh. Maybe something like, "Cheer up, sad face."
I think it would be more like, "Hey, ya pops, how do we turn that frown upside down?" So, Talia, I hear you're planning a big adventure?
Yeah, after all the tree ceremonies are done. I'll stay safe. Don't worry.
You'd better. We love you, so we have an obsessive need of making sure you take care of yourself.
Couldn't have said it any better. Is it noon already?
Oh, man, I'm late. I gotta get to the top of the realm tree fast.
Oh, all right. Well, don't keep anyone waiting.
I won't.
See you when we see you.
For sure. I'll see you guys later. I ran outside, flapped my black wings, and gave one more wave to the Demeters before flying up into the sky.
Atop the realm tree, the wind whipped my hair across my face. There were less of us up here than last time. Lex, Nadine, and Rondell stood together. Kai was talking with Vander Gray. Ingrid and Florence leaned against the Summer Beast Fair as he slept. I was with my family, also keeping an eye on Aquamarine Rain as she sat by herself.
Mercury, do we have to keep waiting?
Yes, it wouldn't be right to do the ceremony without Talia.
Hear that? Now stop complaining.
It's all right, Mom. Sedna, Vesta, if you both wait a little longer, maybe Fortuna will let you take another ride on her back.
Whew. Okay, we'll be quiet.
Yo, Lex! Any word from Talia?
Afraid not. If she's with the Demeters, I could fly down and find her.
I'm here.
Talia flew up from the canopy on her black wings. She landed, and we all turned to face her as she ran over. Aquamarine narrowed her eyes but didn't stand up. Good to see you, Talia.
Hey, you.
She gave me a quick hug.
Sorry for the wait. Is this everyone?
Everyone who can make it, at least. The professor and Gardenia had work to do, and my brother's off with his team.
No problem. Let's get this thing started. Kai?
Yes. Quiet down, folks. For all the work they've put in to get us all here today, let's have a round of applause for Talia Wick and Mercury Chase.
Woo! Talia stood next to me in front of the Celestial Gate. Together, we addressed our family and friends.
For thousands of years, fairies had to earn their wings in a small window of their lives. If they failed to climb the realm tree, their chance at flight was gone forever.
We've decided to change that. All that a fairy needs to do to get their wings is walk through the Celestial Gate. The test just made it more exclusive to everyone's detriment. So we're making it our mission to get every wingless fairy up here little by little, until everyone in the realms has their wings.
It's gonna take time. Things are still a little weird without the council in charge, and we face some opposition to just giving wings out, since they were only for the strong and elite before. But thanks to Professor Doherty being on our side and Fair and Fortuna, existing, nobody really wants to mess with us openly.
Hear that, Fair? You're big and scary.
I prefer to think that my visage inspires awe, and not terror.
Yeah, he's a real nasty one for sure.
Before we start getting more wingless fairies up here safely, we wanted to start with the 5 of you.
You all saved us when things got bad in one way or another. Vander, you got us off the top of this tree when the council was about to kill us. And then you used your magic to save all of the fairies stuck in the realm tree after the test, before the jewel hunters could get to them. Vander said nothing, but gave a nod.
Aquamarine Rain, we would have been crushed by the military in the Day Realm without you joining our side at the last minute.
It wasn't fair of you to lose your shot at wings just because of how the first trial began. And I'm glad that you're okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
And if I may address the last group, this is for the entire Chase family. During our battle, Vega Chase cured my wounds with light magic, something I didn't even know was possible. With your wings, you certainly have the option of traveling to the Spring Realm and speaking to the doctors and healers there. With your contribution, we may revolutionize what we know about the magic of medicine.
Plus, little Sedna and Vesta can get their wings too, as a thanks for taking care of their moody big brother.
Hey, do we even know if fairies that young can get their wings? Will the gate work on them?
I don't know for sure, but we're about to find out.
With that out of the way, the rest is in your hands. Step through the gate and claim wings for your own.
Aquamarine was the first to step up to the gate. She strutted forward, still looking uneasy. She stopped before the gate, looking to me and Mercury. We nodded. She took a deep breath and stepped through. From the other side, she emerged with the long wings of a damselfly. She stared at them in shock.
Is this some sort of trick?
It's not a trick. It's your right. It's everyone's right.
Let's hear it for Aquamarine. Aquamarine walked back to her spot in the crowd. She traced her fingers along her new wings and couldn't help but smile.
I'll go next.
With a slouch in his walk, Vander went underneath the gate next. The 4 long wings of a snakefly unfolded from his back.
Where do you liking that?
We'd all literally be dead without you, Vander. Cheers!
Yeah!
Hear, hear.
Woo! Wings folded, Vander made his way over to Kai. He gave him a friendly pat on the back.
And lastly, whenever you're all ready.
All eyes turned to Mercury's family. Sedna and Vesta tried to shove one another towards the gate.
Oh, for crying out loud, I'll do it. Nothing to be afraid of, come on.
Vega Chase stormed up to the gate without fear. Lights danced around her back until they formed the soft green wings of a Luna moth.
Just the kids now.
You got this, little Mercuries!
You can do it!
Sedna and Vesta walked forward slowly, but they still looked nervous. Mercury knelt down to them and smiled.
Hey, why don't we make this a game? Winner is the fairy who goes through the gate first.
With wide eyes and big grins, the kids nodded. Mercury led his little brother and sister several paces back from the gate.
On your mark. Get set. Go!
Sedna and Vesta broke into a run, the messy sky blue hair on their heads bouncing freely. They laughed and smiled, their feet kicking off the ground in fast sprints. They ran through the gate at the same time. And small glowing wings appeared on their back as they crossed.
Success!
Woo!
Yeah! Woo!
They turned to us and gave us huge grins with baby teeth missing. The first of a new generation of winged fairies. Night fell across the realms. Aquamarine, Vander, Kai, and Mercury's mother and siblings flew back to their homes. It was just my old team, along with Ingrid, Florence, and the Lion Fair. I'm really glad you both could make it. Thanks again for stopping by.
It was our pleasure, Talia.
Where are you off to now?
We're gonna return those fragments we nabbed from the council. Gonna try and stick them back in the realm crystals.
Or at least put them away somewhere safe. That way, the barriers between realms can never be put up again.
Best of luck to you two.
We don't need luck. We have a big lion.
I've, also got some stuff to figure out with my powers. I don't see myself trying to go off meds or anything, but I do want a better idea of how they work.
Let me know if you need an assistant in that research.
Or a sparring partner.
You got it, champ.
Oh, when are you guys planning to go on your big journey?
We thought it would be fitting to leave on the anniversary of the test starting. So, in about another 6 months.
Except for Mercury. He's gonna stick around.
I don't want to leave my family just yet. And there's a lot more work to do in the day realm.
Gotcha. Well, it'll be nice to have you around, pretty boy. Either way, we'll all hang before then. Deal?
Deal.
Great. Then we'll see you all soon.
Fair stood to his full height and pressed his forehead against Ingrid's. The two of them merged, Ingrid's hair growing fiery extensions, her pupils becoming a soft orange. The two girls waved at us once more before holding hands and flying down to their winter home.
Hello, friends! Long time no see.
There she is.
Hazel! Good to see ya!
I apologize for my tardiness. Mercury and I are attempting to work with Saul Avalon and other former heads of the military in its reformation. It's a lot of arguing.
I thought you were trying to disband the military.
I believe it was more complicated than that.
It is. A centralized army was never ideal, so we're trying to use its resources to create community protection programs instead. Having smaller and more specialized groups with local leadership to serve their own communities. At least that's how Mercury describes it.
Sounds like quite the endeavor. But I imagine you're one of the best at talking over anyone trying to interrupt you.
It is, and I am! Oh! Sunshine! Hello! Didn't see you there!
Hello. Hazel ran over to me and picked me up in a hug. Oof! I guess if I was being forcibly squeezed by anyone, I'd rather it be you than Cedar.
Ha! Learned that lesson last time.
We all stood silently for a moment before looking over to the tree before us, decorated with flowers of Cedar's making. Sai's dad was really okay with letting us bury her in the spring realm and not back home.
Yes, he said that she would have liked it here.
I think that's correct. She would have. You all did a really good job on her grave. The flowers especially are beautiful.
That was really all Cedar and Linden.
Yep. Nicholas and I don't really have an eye for decorating.
We wanted to thank you too, Sunshine.
Me? What did I do?
You brought her body back. Even if you were working with the council at the time, we're glad you did.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's what anyone else would have done.
I don't know about that. That gesture was the thing that let me know we could still reach you, and I'm really glad we did.
Agreed.
It's great to have you back, boss.
We don't know where we'd be without you. Tears! I don't know how to handle this!
She's just gotta let it out.
I was terrible! I left all of you behind, and you're all being so nice to me! What the hell?
It's okay, Sunshine. We forgive you.
I was such a brat! I would have shoved any of you into a tar pit to get ahead, and I basically did!
Sunshine.
I don't deserve any of you!
Sunshine!
Nicholas grabbed me by the shoulders, tears streaming down my face. I sniffled and looked into his icy blue eyes. He pulled me into a kiss. I closed my eyes and let it happen.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Woo! Get it!
I knew it! I knew this was gonna go down!
Your tears have shown us that your mind was fraught. Now romance blossoms between the cold and hot.
Hey, Lyndon.
Yes?
Shut up!
Ah, truly a match made in heaven.
Nicholas put an arm around my waist as we looked up at the spring realm tree that marked Sai's grave. Cedar reached into his pocket for the pair of black gloves he knitted her during the test. He knelt down to place them at its base. In the shadow of the tree looming above us, we all felt safe and at home.
Come on, just give me your arm, Catherine. It won't hurt a bit.
How do I know I can trust you?
Because I got one of the bracelets as well, and I'm fine. See? Come on, Kath. You know me. I wouldn't do anything that would endanger myself.
Fine, but make it quick.
Professor Doherty and I clamped a wooden bracelet with glowing blue markings around Catherine's wrist.
There. Saul Avalon, Catherine Zephyr. With this anti-magic bracelet, the two of you are free to live your lives as normal. You will have a chaperone you need to check in with twice a day, and of course, your powers will be disabled, but your flight will be unaffected.
We can take the bracelets off of you once everything's settled down. We just don't want the transfer of power from the council to the people to be shook up.
Yes, we know the situation. And even though you're both too polite to say it, I know that you don't exactly trust us yet.
Oh, I was getting to that. Don't worry. It's just a precaution. The remaining council members had to get these as well. So did Sunshine.
It's certainly better than rotting in a prison cell. Though part of me does wish we left my father in that light dimension for just a little longer.
Have some respect, Saul.
He's not in charge anymore. He's no one's superior now. He's just a war criminal.
He's your father.
Meh.
Anyway, that's all we need from you. You're free to go. Ish.
Thank you, Gardenia. Professor, have a lovely night.
You as well.
And hey, Catherine?
What?
Are we still on for brunch tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Great. I'll see you then. Saul and Catherine left through the wooden door and flew off into the sky.
Well, that's the last of the parole meetings. Thank you again for letting me use your home for them, Gardenia. Beatrice von Brass threw a fit when I originally scheduled them in the Winter Realm.
Hey, I get it. It's cold over there. And my family was happy to help the Winter Sage himself.
Winter Sage? Is that what they're calling me now?
Yeah. Do you like the sound of it?
I suppose.
The professor started to pack up his papers, but looked distracted. Are you okay, Professor? If it would take too long to fly back to the Winter Realm, me and my folks could set up the guest room.
No. I'd like to return home tonight.
Something else is on your mind.
Yes, quite a lot of thoughts are giving me trouble.
I get that. Are you feeling weird about setting up a new way of running the realms?
Yes, but that's not my current preoccupation.
Don't like your new title, then?
Oh, I quite like the new title. It's flattering and easy to remember, but am I worthy of such recognition? Now, I'm glad we succeeded in our struggle, but Cassius aside, all those we lost were far too young. Malthus Frost, Ernest Forge, Callum Thorne, Cy Gray, Erostratus, and Daisy Demeter. In addition to all those hunted down in the tree, where I failed to keep an eye. Too many young lives lost forever.
Yeah, it's horrible. So many fairies that were used by the council ended up gone. You know, even after everything she did, I'm glad Catherine wasn't among the dead.
Indeed, whether they were innocent or misguided, a young life deserves a chance. For the lost ones, I will hold it upon myself to make sure their lives are recorded and live on as examples for the future, so we may study them and prevent other tragedies like this.
That's really good of you, Professor. We're lucky to have someone like you who really cares.
Yes, well, as I get up there in years, I often think about how I myself will be remembered past my time. I'm grateful and humbled to have so many more decades of life than those young ones did. I want to afford those fairies a chance to leave their marks on the realms as well, as a part of history.
I think the impact we leave on the world is more than our name or even the memory of us. We all shape a little bit of history, even if it's not recorded. Those fairies all affected our lives in one way or another. And Professor, in saving us and leading our operation, I know you've done a lot of good for years to come.
Well, I certainly hope that is the case.
You have. I just know it. And hey, if you ever want someone to help with the record keeping, I can come by.
I wouldn't mind the help. With Kai on the road to becoming a professor himself, I will need new assistants. I've reached out to the Cristels already, but I would happily extend the offer to you as well.
I'd be glad to take you up on that.
Okay, remind me of your parents' names again.
My father is Magnus Alexander Goldenray. He has the long hair and penchant for brooches. My mother is Sola Penthesilea Goldenray. She has the spectacles and short haircut.
Right. Mom's an art collector and dad's into land development.
Precisely. See? Nothing to be nervous about. You're going to be fine.
I'm not nervous. I just want to leave a good impression on your family. I really am excited to meet them, Lex.
You're fine as you are. They're going to love you. As I do.
You are not too bad yourself, bucko. I took Lex's hand in mine and stepped closer to fix his tie.
Nadine's dress was exquisite, but by far the main attraction was her face. As she gave my outfit another glance over, I gently pulled her glasses up onto her forehead.
Lex, remember what we talked about? Glasses make Nadine see.
I know. Just wanted to take a look at your eyes.
Oh, yeah. Cool. You can kiss me now.
Excellent. I gently put one hand on Nadine's waist and used the other to interlace our fingers.
Placing my hands around the back of Lex's neck, I let his lips meet mine and felt the thoughts in my head get quiet under a comforting warmth.
Is this the spot you were looking for, Rondell?
Yeah, this is the place. The rocks are real good here. I stood with Mr. Assistant Kai at the bottom of a rocky autumn realm canyon. Baby Rondell stood at my feet. The earth and stones around us all had an orange color to them. We knelt down and placed our hands on the ground.
Whenever you're ready.
Just one more second. I showed Kai a smooth green stone that fit into the palm of my hand. I found this in the tree during the test. When I showed it to Daisy, she said it was beautiful. I want this to be the base.
Ah, that gemstone is called fluorite.
Oh, does it mean anything?
It can be associated with a number of things. It's said to have uses for grounding oneself and clearing the heart and mind for a fuller life.
Awesome. That's perfect. I put the fluorite down between me and Kai. We both started to use terramancy and it sunk into the ground. In a few moments, another stone doll rose out of the earth. Unlike baby Rondell, it had a shiny green quality to it.
And there we are, your second stone doll. I hope it's as useful to you as your first.
She. She, not it. Her name is Little Daisy. She and baby Rondell are gonna be pals. I used my fingers to push the stone dolls towards each other. They marched forward and met in the middle, doing the closest thing to a hug their stubby arms could manage. I felt something wet on my cheek. Oh, that's weird.
Are you alright, Rondell?
Yeah, I'm just getting used to crying again.
The separation between the realms began to thin, as fairies left their homes to explore places more suited to their needs. Now that almost everyone had wings, creating a better life for yourself was more than just a dream. Once again, I stood atop the realm tree, watching the sunset. Lex, Nadine, and Rondell were by my side. We all had our supplies packed.
Are you ready to go, Talia?
Yeah, just a sec. I want to take in the view.
I understand. I've come up here many times to try and sketch it. But but it's never quite as magnificent as the real thing.
It's a lot easier to appreciate it up here now. You know, since we're not in mortal peril.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We could still be in mortal peril out there beyond the realms.
Whatever's out there doesn't stand a chance against us. We're the best team in the 6 realms, bar none!
Yeah, you're right.
So, Nicholas and I were going through your dad's journals, Talia. The ones Professor Doherty found.
Oh? What did they say?
A lot of them were spent outlining how the 7th crystal would work. How to create a barrier that repels foreign beings, and all the other not-so-great science. But there was also a lot of information your mom told him that nobody else knows. Like where this tree came from.
Huh? Wasn't the realm tree always here?
It certainly feels that way. But I suppose all things must have their beginnings.
I'm guessing it was more than just an enchanted apple tree. It would take a lot of magic to make something grow this big.
That's right. The realm tree is so big because it comes from another world. Or another place of existence. The fairies live here, the Morphians have their own realm somewhere, and then there are beings out there called giants. True to the name, they tower over all of us. The seed that grew the realm tree thousands of years ago is just a normal-sized seed for them.
That's kind of terrifying, but it's exciting, too. As much as I want to find my mom, I also can't wait to see what else is out there.
I really wish Mercury was coming with us.
Yeah.
Me too. It'll be weird without him.
You might like this then.
We followed Lex to look over the side of the realm tree. Rising up from the world below was the golden dragon Fortuna. Mercury stood coolly on her head. When he rose to eye level with me, he grinned.
Hey!
Did I wish Mercury into existence?
Mercury! I didn't think we'd see you.
What brings you here? Come to see us all?
Actually, I've decided to join you on your adventure.
Wait, really? What about your family and reforming the military and...
I'm trusting Hazel and Saul to work on disbanding the military. They've also done a lot for distributing food to everyone around the day realm. I'll miss my family for sure. But I've been fighting for them for as long as I can remember. I want to do something for myself. And, well, my mom kinda yelled at me about it.
Yeesh, what did she say?
She said, and I quote, "Mercury, you're lying to me and you're lying to yourself. You want to see the world. You're young. I get it. Now get out of here and stop bumming around the house."
Bit of a harsh send-off.
That's all right. We're taking baby steps with her. She actually has a new boyfriend she met while learning to heal in the Spring Realm.
Is he cool?
Really cool.
Hell yeah! Get it, Mama Mercury!
Anyway, I'm just happy to be with the team again. I really miss adventuring with you all.
We're happy to have you too. And you as well, Fortuna.
The pleasure is mine. I'll be with all of you every step of the way. I'd like to make sure you all make it back home after you find who you are looking for.
Don't worry, we will. Fortuna lifted her serpentine body so we could climb onto her back. I sat up front with Mercury while Lex, Nadine, and Rondell sat in the back.
Where shall I go?
We're going to find Talia's mother and the land of the Amorphians.
My mom said to follow the water? Whatever that means.
There's a huge mass of water outside of the 6 realms on the winter side. It's unexplored territory and it seems pretty dangerous.
Danger is surely the best indication that there's something to be found. When it strikes, we'll be ready.
Yeah! All of us!
Yeah. I opened my palms and looked down at them. Marks like tattoos had appeared on them when I was brought back to this world all those months ago. On my left palm was a circle of blue dots. They reminded me of the jewels that ran down my back when I merged with Jinx. And on my right palm was a design like a circular flower. It shined green. All of us. Right, you two? Fortuna took off from the realm tree's canopy, carrying us over the winter realm. I breathed in the cold air and looked to Mercury. Hey, I'm a little worried about something.
What is it?
My father was really afraid of something coming to the realms. I still don't know what it is.
I think we'll be ready.
Mercury met my gray eyes with his golden ones and smiled as the wind pushed his hair out of his face.
We have friends watching over us. Right?
Yeah, we do. From my hand with the flower marking on its palm, I felt an ethereal sensation. A warm touch of healing. And just for a moment, I thought I could feel a familiar hand holding tightly onto mine.
I walked through a land where every piece of scenery towered over me. In this strange place, every acorn was the size of a house. The trunk of every tree I traveled by was a realm tree in and of itself. I wrapped my cloak around myself and flew up to the canopy high above my head. I landed on a large branch. As my boots touched down, the winter beast's powers slowly made it frost over. Who goes there? I spun around to see 3 silent, long-limbed figures staring at me. They were stick-thin with long tangles of hair, their skin ancient and gnarled like tree bark. On their backs, they all had a pair of folded, tattered wings. One of them came close to me, meeting my eye level. Its breath smelled of death. Relax, my friends. I come in peace. I've come a long way to find you. Snowflakes continued to drift off of my body, the power of the winter beast wailing in agony at the sight of these beings. The one standing before me raised a long finger to catch a melting snowflake. Its jaw started to open slowly, revealing a pair of razor-sharp teeth.
Those powers. I know that magic.
I've read many stories of you and your power. It is an honor to be in the presence of you, the first fairies. The creature's yellow eyes met mine. Its tattered wings spread out behind it, and its razor teeth curled into a grin.
Never found my place and where to be. Always searching for the one to stay beside me. Wanting more than what you never gave. And yearning for a time where I would win my place. But all that falls away, knowing you're here with me, never letting go until we see. Find me, I'll fight it all to find out who I'm meant to be. I'll find a heart of where I know I'm meant to go. With your love I'll live the way I've always known I'm meant to be. And here with you, I'll find my home. Search to bring me life. I'm alive. I'll fight it all to find out who I'm meant to be. I'll find a heart of where I know I'm meant to go. With your love I'll live the way I've always known I'm meant to be. And here with you, I'll find my home. To bring you back up from the dark. Will you follow me until the end? Can we go as far as where the